name's Joe and this is my 3D flight sketchbook evaluation. So with this project we were given the word flight and we were supposed to look at this word and try and come up with a sculpture for a final piece that evolves around this word. And with this unit we were looking at different techniques and 3D mediums to use to possibly look at and create a final piece with. So to start off we were told to look at a particular bird, and so I decided to look at kingfisher because I thought that it was just like a really unique shape and it had a lot of colour to it. We were then, after told to look at this bird, told to draw it and from all different angles so we can really see the different shapes of our bird. And the first material we were looking at was wire and wire sculptures. And as I've never worked with wire before, I thought my sculpture turned out okay. These were my initial designs for the sculpture that I was working from. The next task we had were to listen to the song Ride of Valkyries, or Flight of Valkyries as it's also known, and to draw images of what we thought and what we saw when listening to the music. And initially I saw classic planes, movies and skyscrapers. So with that I then started creating some design ideas for a miniature sculpture. Now once we got our designs, we then made a miniature paper sculpture which we then turned into card. We're next looking at bugs, and we're all given a bug each to look at and to draw so you can really get a feel of different shapes and the tones of our bug. And with that we'll then trying to create a mobile using the designs we had. So first of all I started thinking about what materials I could use, what other people have done with mobiles, and I could then move on with my designs. I then started looking at what materials I can use for my mobile, and so I was looking at hot glue, glue and ink, and laminating. Now my mobile ended up looking like this, which I thought was really interesting. I was initially going to use a coat hanger for it, however, because I didn't have any wire coat hangers to use, I had to makeshift a hook using a spare piece of wire. The next medium we were looking at, 3D medium, was tape sculptures. This was probably one of the easiest sculptures to make just because it was really quick and fairly easy to do. I also looked at the artist Mark Jenkins, who also does tape sculptures and often clothes his sculptures to create a more unique effect. And we then moved on to Modrock, and I've worked with Modrock in the past and I really liked working with Modrock. I thought that this could be a good medium to use for my final piece. I just think it's really easy to work with, it's really malleable, you create a lot of textures and rough edges with it, and it's really nice to work with. So as I was thinking about my final piece, I started creating some initial designs, some experimental drawings, see what different shapes I could get and see what I can work with. We're also looking at clay. I've only worked with clay a bit in the past, however I've never made a clay tile before, and so we were looking at relief. And what I found surprising about clay is that there was a lot of health and safety to go with it, which I thought was really surprising. I was also looking at various artists who work with clay as well. So I then started creating some designs for my final piece, which I would then most likely have to change when working with it when creating it. Just seeing how it would go. As well as getting like lots and lots of research, primary research, seeing what other people have done with flight, getting some photos of some bugs and birds. I also created a Pinterest board with lots of different ideas in it which I could use, which involved around word flight and lots of artist research. I then finalised my ideas and created a final design for my sculpture, which I would then proceed to make using cardboard, which would then be which will then have mod rock over it, and then spray painted with textured spray paint. I was really happy with how my final piece turned out. I was really struggling with what I was going to do for my final piece, because flight was such a broad term and there was like several ways you can look at it. However, overall I was really pleased with what I came up with and I really liked the design. Thank you for watching.